Tiga Shipyard is the second map to the bottom right. We now have our Terran player in the red. He's down a game. We have for Team Complexity, we have Heart. And his opponent starting to the top left in the blue color is our Prime player. BBoongBBoong with a nice performance on Cloud Kingdom. Now he's facing the Terran opponent on Antigua, a map that is famous for the battles for the fourth bases, all those drop abilities for Terran. And for Zerg, it's quite hard. You have to just make sure that you are somehow secured, especially with the fourth base. Where do you take it? To your right, to the left? Do you try to take a base in the middle? And this is actually the key position on Antigua. The high ground in the middle of the map. If Terran is able to establish a nice sieged up position in the middle, then it suddenly gets very hard for a Zerg player to flank, to take another base. And you can't just dominate the game because you have this central position.
Yeah, the center is absolutely the most important position on this map. For this reason, a lot of people like to use Ultras on this map, because if you don't have control over the center, if you try to use Broodlords, your opponent can just basically dart underneath the Broodlords and kill them. There's a lot of open space on this map. The only place on this map where you can kind of put Broodlords over a cliff and attack with them is that center position. And if you don't have control over that, how are you really going to be able to attack with Broodlords? You can try to use Broodlords to break the center, try to control it that way, but it's just so difficult to use and so risky.
Broodlords are also very bad when it comes down to defending your bases, because they are so slow. If you rely on a Linger, Zergling, Infestor, and Ultralisk composition, you have those fast units that can actually just try to charge in as soon as your opponent sends a small force with 1 or 2 medivacs over to take down a base to snipe it. So that's something that you always have to keep in mind. But we'll see what exactly BBoongBBoong is up here. We've seen a successful Broodlord play on this map in the past. It's just pretty rare. Yeah,
you're right. It is in fact rare. Sometimes you see it for switch purposes. Once you force your opponent's composition one way with the Ultralisk and you switch in the Broodlords later. It's usually seen the other way around, though. On most maps, this is just a very unique one. You see a 1 barracks expand coming down here for Heart, and he actually made his barracks on the low ground. He's now going to move it to his high ground there. An interesting choice. And, of course, is going to scout with his SCV as soon as possible.
Yeah, just getting a little bit of idea of what BBoongBBoong is doing, especially if there's going to be gas. He wants to know, or at least tries to know, if there's going to be an extractor. There actually is an extractor, so this is not going to be a 4-queen build. Tries to fake a little bit of pressure here, but there will be a few drones being pulled off minerals very soon in order to take this SCV in the Marine.
Yep, and the first Marine is all he's sending here. He's not going to probably get any drones, but if that bunker does in fact finish, well, he's just going to go away here, but he actually could have potentially killed a few Zerglings and then just salvaged and gotten out of there, but as it turns out, surprisingly, he's going to just leave. That's actually really funny. If he would have produced more Marines, then this bunker could have done some damage, but it's just so interesting to see that BBoongBBoong doesn't even try. He's like, he knows exactly, okay, you're just going to fake. This is 1 Marine. You are not going to produce anymore, so I don't even have to send out drones. A little bit of a ballsy move here. Because if he had finished the bunker and put 1 Marine inside, he would have at least had to make more Zerglings. 4 Zerglings cannot kill 1 Marine in a bunker. He would have had to pull some drones as well.
He could have used the high ground here as well. The bunker was very close to the high ground, so you can use that to your advantage. But
I was just so surprised because with the way bunkers work, if you cancel one, it's the same minerals back as if you salvage it, so he could have just let it finish. I guess he wanted to make sure the SCV survived. I'm not 100% sure.
I think that's definitely the reason, because if you could see that as soon as he retreated, the Zerglings were already in production, so they would have been able to catch up with the SCV most likely. And now we even have a very early speed, so very early speed here, and a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah,
so this is aggression, and it's a lot of it. But without a Bailing Nest, I won't be able to do too much, because we have a very nice wall in for Heart here. So all these Zerglings will be, I don't want to say useless. He's still able to get the map control, but he will not be able to do damage unless he starts with the Bailing Nest very soon.
Yeah, this is actually something we've seen a lot of Zergs do recently, with just a ton of Zerglings only coming in, because it forces a lift oftentimes if there's no wall on the low ground. But like you said, there is a wall on the low ground here. He does have a few Hellions as well, and if the Zerglings try to target down a depot, I don't think it's going to work. But if he gets in, that changes everything, and this is a very unfortunate timing for Heart.
Oh, this is horrible. This is really, really bad right now. He did not see it, and now he will lose the supply depots at the front. He has to lift his orbital. He's losing mining time.
He's going to have to cancel a command center even.
Exactly. He has to cancel the command center. This is bad. This is really, really bad. He was set up quite nicely, and then he just doesn't see the Zerglings, and wow. I certainly didn't expect this.
This is completely unexpected. Now, Hart is making a third command center again at the top of his ramp, but he's losing so much mining time. And this is a terrible start to his second game where he's down a series, and I really, frankly, think this is a super risky choice by BBoongBBoong, but it ended up paying off. I mean, he just got so lucky here, and now he's actually going to catch some of these Hellions potentially.
Oh, did he lose all of his Zerglings? One Hellion dies, 2 die. The supply depot, is it going to burn down, or did he just send out an SCV in time?
Yeah, he's going to repair it just barely in time.
That's something that BBoongBBoong should have killed. He knew it was there. There were a few Hellions on the high ground.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
But two more hits and the supply depot would have been gone. And it's not only about the minerals, but just supply blocking your opponent a little bit longer and making sure that he does not get additional SCVs is so important.
Yeah, I completely agree. And at this point, since he lost all of his Zerglings, he's going to be pretty hard-pressed to defend this hatchery. It looks like Hart's going to hesitate a little bit here. He doesn't know exactly how many Zerglings are out on the map.
Oh, look at the production gap. We have a Roach Warren. He could actually use the Roach Warren here in order to get aggressive once again.
Yeah, and he will potentially even use the third base just to reinforce Roaches out of it.
Think about what he saw. He saw the third base, so he's going to expect that there will be another third, that he is going to rebuild, that Hart is sticking with this strategy. And with the third base, he knows that also the tech will be a little bit delayed. And therefore, there they are, 6 Roaches, and he can just pressure once again.
Yeah, indeed he will. He's going to probably use his next round of Larva to put a little bit more pressure on with those as well. I'm not sure if I like the choice of going with the Zerglings here at this point, but he is going to catch actually a Hellion here. He just has to be careful because he's not really trading as efficiently anymore as he once was. He's forced a lot of lost mine time, but with the third command center up that he predicts is there, the longer he does this, the worse off he's going to be. He doesn't want to be using that much larva on these lings. And it really shuts down. I mean, he's actually making 6 more Roaches right now, but imagine if he had all those lings and 12 Roaches at the next attack, it would have been much more effective than if he had just run in as he did.
He should build another round of lings now. He's not doing it. Speed lings would be there in time to support the Roaches, but, well, with the unit composition that Hart has at this point, I don't think he has much to... He doesn't have a lot that could actually stop this attack.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't have a bunker.
BBoongBBoong is going for double Evo and is going for the lair tech. The one thing that Hart has right now are these upgrades. And there are all of the Hellions die. You can't see it on screen, but all of them died already. They were surrounded by the Zerglings, and now the Lings come in, try to take down the Marines as well. Hart is on the ropes here. He's losing so much.
He absolutely is. I mean, he's pulling his SCVs here. The next round of Roaches are on their way in, and Kaldor, 30 Zerglings.
Built.
And so many of these SCVs are already injured that they're going down so rapidly at this point. And to be perfectly honest, even if he holds his attack, which it looks like he just barely will, the next wave is going to do so much damage that this is basically going to be unrecoverable. And he's dropping his mules now. He knows he's defended the first wave, but...
And at the same time, he has the better economy. He has 3 bases. He does not miss making sure that he is in the lead with his tech as well.
These engagements, though, by BBoongBBoong have been pretty bad.
The last ones have been pretty bad because he was just sending in a few Zerglings at a time, so that was definitely a problem. But now he's building 17 drones. And he will be able to drone up rapidly because there is just no potential for Hart to be aggressive at this point. So this is really a big problem. 20 workers have been killed by BBoongBBoong, and he's just dominating.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Right now, though, interestingly enough, 2-2 upgrades are on the way for Hart. If he can hold on here a little bit longer, build up his army supply just a little bit more, he's going to have a few medevacs out here, and he does have a pretty strong army. The problem for him, though, is he lost all of his Hellions each time, which was something I thought was a little bit weird. BBoongBBoong repeatedly tried to catch the Hellions with the Zerglings, didn't trade as efficiently. I feel like if BBoongBBoong had microed a few of these battles just a little bit better, and literally just a little bit better, this game would be over at this point. But Hart does still have an opportunity to come back into this. If he can hit that 2-2 timing while his opponent's just at 1-1 with a decent amount of medevacs out, a siege tank or 2, he may be able to at least kill the third hatchery.
I don't think that he's able to compete with the numbers of BBoongBBoong though, because he already has a Baneling nest now, so he's going for 14 Banelings. He has a very decent creep spread. This is a problem that Star's going to face. Important. It will either delay his push or he has to fight on creep, which will give BBoongBBoong a speed advantage once again. And just look at it. Once again, 13 drones are building, and this will put him to 86. And he's already taking a 4th. He's spreading creep. He's getting a Spire. He's doing such a great job. He has, as you mentioned, he has a little bit of a disadvantage when he comes down to the upgrades for his units, but I don't think that Hart has the numbers to compete here.
Yeah, if he competes on creep with the numbers he has, you're exactly right. And even off creep, it may just be too much. The armies play very similar here, and the unit composition for BoongBoong is very strong at this point. This is a tough position to be in for Hart. I would not want to be in his position right now. The unit count shows basically 51 drones to 86 drones to 51 SCVs, and that is a terrible deficit to be in, even with mules. That's not somewhere I'd like to be at this point, especially with the 4th base up and running over at the left side of the map. One Viking will spot this entire army composition, and at this point Hart may say, well, I think that may just be too much. I'm going to try to turtle on 3 bases, defend, and get that maxed out army with better upgrades, and then start to push.
11 Mutalisks are being built now, and this is a very nice decision. You could just try to go for a Broodlord composition, but Mutalisks make a lot of sense here. You can catch those drops, you are very flexible. Your opponent is already behind, and if he has to invest into additional medivacs, missile turrets, this is going to be a problem for him. So right now, BoongBoong is just dictating Hart what he has to do, and well, Hart just doesn't get the initiative here.
No, he's not, and this was a poor choice to stay here after seeing the Zerglings there. He tried to trade well, but in the end he actually loses everything for nothing. I mean, his idea there was, well, he probably doesn't have mutas, I hope, and if he doesn't, then he's going to lose a lot of Zerglings here, but he had mutas, and so...
With the economy that he has, I just don't think that he can get enough the Thors, but BoongBoong is playing so smart. He's always showing a bit of tech, he's showing his opponent what he's going to do, but he is not just sticking to a tier 2 composition, he's going for the infestation pit right now. He knows that he has to transition at some point. He's even building the double infestation pit.
Yeah. I don't even know about that, man.
That is one thing that we've seen countless times lately. Zerg players building 2 infestation pits for some reason.
It's really weird, but he is going to continue to use these mutas to harass, which I like.
You're just an autopilot and you don't realize that you already built it just a second ago, and killing the supply depot with the extra supplies was really important. He takes down another one, and Hart is once again supply blocked.
Yep, he does get a good Thor shot on those mutas though, which does weaken them significantly, but at this point I'm just not sure if it matters. Hive Tech is on the way. 2-2 upgrades now have finished for BoongBoong, so he's even in upgrades.
I think he cancelled one of the infestation pits, I think he realized.
Yeah, I think you're right. But he is just basically controlling the map. He has control of that very important center, as we mentioned earlier. Now this is the worst possible place to engage with mutas, on top of missile turrets and a bunker full of Marines. Does get out of there, thankfully, for his sake there, because that was a pretty poor trade.
It doesn't matter for him at this point, because all he wants to do is to make sure that the Terran player is playing passive. He takes the map, he takes the 5th base, he can take control of the center of the map. He needs to have a little bit of time for his tech. That's the one thing that he wants to achieve here. And if he loses a Mutalisk every now and then, it is not a big deal. He shouldn't have attacked into 2 turrets and the Marines, but it's not like a game deciding problem for him.
It's basically just him being so comfortable at this point, he just doesn't care. I mean, he's just basically saying, well,
Look at his minerals. 3,650 gas, even though he already has his infestors out. Lair tech is done, Hive tech, and +1 armor for the Mutalisks also on its way. Definitely a good position for him, and with a 5th base, he will have so much gas.
He'll have so much indeed. He already has 5 infestors out. Greater Spire now being started here. Starting all 3 of those upgrades at the exact same time, just like we saw before. As soon as that Hive is done, man, he does not stop, and he's going to attack here. The tanks were unsieged, and I think BoongBoong is going to destroy this Terran army.
He is going to crush it. There's just way too much. The infestors not even in range for a fungal, but it does not matter. He just does have the numbers. Rebuilding 76 Zerglings and going for the Greater Spire. Adrenal Glands, 3-3. This is just way too much. The Medivacs die, all those tech units, they are so important to Hart's army composition, but they just vanish. The infestors will drop a few infested Swarmax, and then they will retreat, while BoongBoong is just making sure that he is not losing this game.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Even losing these infestors is pretty insignificant for him at this point. It just simply does not matter. He's rallying those 76 Zerglings we were mentioning earlier across the map. They're going to run in here and tear apart the rest of Hart's army. I mean, just look at the supply, 199 to 112. His 3-3 is about to finish, his Adrenal Glands are about to finish, his Greater Spire is finishing up here, and he's playing this so safely because he knows all he has to do is make no mistakes. And even if he makes mistakes, he's probably fine, but if he just plays safely here, he'll win this game no matter what and advance to the next round.
What I love, 4th base and 5th base only gas. That's all he gets. He knows he has the minerals, he needs the gas, so he gets only gas. And now he's moving in once again. And nice Fungal will go for the Thors with the magic box. The Banelings rolling in, rolling, taking out everything in their path. 180 supply against 89. BBoongBBoong is about to seal the deal.
Yeah, it looks like he definitely is. GG. BBoongBBoong Prime taking out Complexity's heart here in pretty spectacular fashion. Things got off to a really bad start in the second game with him getting very lucky with the depot being lowered. And anyways, up next we're going to have TSL Symbol coming off of a pretty good performance at Iron Squid up against IMC, a big fan favorite. So we'll see you guys in just a few minutes.